What is in a name? Depends on who it is, you probably thought. Someone could have a name that you think is cute, but if you know that person is full of it, you may get angry or want to vomit. There are some things in life that do rely on namesake for legitimacy of sorts. You're not gonna eat at a place called the Musty Mud Bucket. They could have a rep for having the most delicious burgers in the entire galaxy, but that name may make you think twice of even going near that place. The same can also be said for fighting game characters. Granted, most players will likely name playstyle and appearance as reasons they gravitate towards certain characters. I'm sure there are character names that caught your attention, for better or worse. These are 10 weirdly named fighting game characters. For the record, I'm not saying these characters are terrible, they just happen to have names that I find rather odd. With all that being said, let's get started. Number 10, Collector. My friends have heard me rag on this Mortal Kombat newcomer's name numerous times since they first revealed him. Collector ranks low on this list, seeing that there's kind of a disturbing mystery to his rather plain name. One of the first things a person would ask upon learning his name is, what exactly does he collect? Seeing it's Mortal Kombat, one may get morbid ideas in mind, and that's kinda cool, I guess. Collector got his name from his profession, as it is with all the other Nakanatas. While it totally makes sense, it doesn't really help. Emperor Shao Kahn and his dreaded deadly Collector. He sounds less like a deadly right-hand man and more like the cheapo that waits until a person is knocked out to rob them of their money, or as Aaron Black calls it,
he'd steal nickels off a dead man's eyes.
If you think I'm the only one that finds his name odd, I have someone who would like a word.
Your name's just Collector?
Your name means dung heap in my tongue.
I wouldn't like to know what my name means in their language. If the cute cool Cassie Cage is dung heap, I fear for what I might be. All in all, Collector's an interesting design and has a pretty cool playstyle. His name is just, I could only imagine if there's a Nakanata named Booby Trap. Number 9, 10 Count. I'd find his name a bit cooler and more fitting if he were a wrestler or a boxer, but he's neither of those things. He's an assassin that wields a rapier and whose design was obviously inspired by the late Michael Jackson. Even with the odd name 10 Count, the background behind his name is actually pretty badass. 10 Count has a method of the same name in which he counts down from 10 while fighting an opponent. Once he hits 0, he pretty much does his opponent in. Despite how wicked that sounds, I don't think it called for him to name himself after it. I mean, it's not even apparently a code name as far as we know. Number 8, Muscle Power. We're not quite out of the well of characters naming themselves after their most standout qualities yet. Additionally, this one is also based on a somewhat controversial figure, this time Hulk Hogan. This one is just plain dopey. It's almost like they originally called him Muscle Man, but thought that was too generic and somehow coughed up Muscle Power, only to say, well, it's different. Look, we get it. He's a mountainous man of muscle. He's powerful. There are much more creative ways to make it come across within a name. Seeing he's a wrestler, here are some examples. Hercules Hernandez, Big John Studd, Tony Atlas, Braun Strowman, Uhaa Nation. The latter got his name from his high school coach who said he was as strong as a single nation. Also, I think after hearing Zangief shout for crap ton of times, makes this name all the more goofy to me. Number 7, K9999. Yeah, I know you actually pronounce it K49, but even with that it doesn't make it any less odd. K49 was named as such due to being the 9,999th perfected clone of Kyo. While that makes sense, yet again, it doesn't make his name any less odd. It also didn't help that K-49 was basically a ripoff of Tetsuo Shima from Akira, all the way down to having the same voice actor. It makes it seem like the creative process involved them recoloring Shima, adding him to the lineage of Kyo clones, and yanking the name K-49 from who knows where. I mean, Kyo 1 and 2 were already done, and making Kyo 3 would have kinda been pushing it, especially since he looks nothing like Kyo. To be fair, Ness did specialize in robotics, and K-49 does at least sound like the name of a robot. He was built from the ground up, so maybe he is one? Who knows? SNK doesn't seem keen on bringing him back, so there. Number 6, Mudman. I've already covered Mudman on here once before. For those who haven't seen that video, here's the short version. Mudman is a shaman warrior who fights in the name of his god against evil forces to protect nature, hoping to earn his place in the heavens. Despite that mask being a mask, it's somehow able to change facial expressions. It's a weapon and a shield as well. Mudman also possesses the ability to summon spirits to attack his opponents. At this point, you're probably wondering, when do we get the mud attacks, like Mud Slap? First off, wrong game. Second, there are no mud attacks. As kooky and weird as Mudman may seem, he doesn't use mud to attack. I stopped the Mudman thing, I'm pretty sure you got bothered by it. So why the name Mudman? Similar to K-49, Mudman also draws inspiration from anime and manga, specifically Daijiro Morohoshi's Mudmen. Number 5, Damned. Really? That's your name? I mean, I know most people invoke profanity for the sake of emphasis or sounding edgy, but adopting such a word as your name is practically the definition of a tryhard. The ironic thing is that there is not a single thing edgy about Damned, which is unbelievable at first glance. His giant toothy smiles make him look a little goofy, but still, I think he looks pretty cool. What isn't cool is how he fights. Damned is a damn coward, generally avoiding full-on combat, calling for his backup to fight on his behalf. Then, like a cowardly wrestling heel, once his reinforcements fail, he attempts a sneak attack. On Western ports, Damned is named Thrasher due to censorship. Thrasher isn't a super stellar or edgy name either, but it's definitely an improvement over Damned. Number 4, Duck King. Oh wow, another cool character design lumped in with a dopey name. Seriously? Duck King? I would have actually let this one slide if he were a boxer. At least that would have made for a silly but somewhat meaningful pun. Duck King is actually a breakdancer, having an assortment of acrobatic moves with some similarities to Capoeira. So why Duck King? I couldn't find any outright explanations at all. The only thing that really lines up is Duck King is accompanied by a baby duck named Pee-chan, which actually has a matching mohawk. The baby duck even mirrors some of his movements and poses. Well, that's just cute. Wait, what? It's a chick? So why not Chick King or Chicken King or Duck King is actually starting to sound super cool now. Even worse, his name has been fodder for some harsh insults. Arguably the harshest comes from Terry Bogard, who called him Suck King. Damn. Number 3, Falke. Dipping back into the well of profanity-based names, aren't we? Well, actually, no. First off, a majority of you watching know Falke by another name. That name? Falcon. Not him, the other pilot named Falcon. The lead character from the cult classic 3D arena fighter Power Stone, Edward Falcon. Like Damned, Falke had to be renamed in the West because Capcom didn't want to be blamed for thousands of kids having soap bars for dessert. Believe it or not, Capcom didn't have vulgarity in mind when naming Falke. They named their pilot protagonist after a Dutch aircraft manufacturer named, no really, Falke, which in turn was named after its founder, Anthony Falke. So there. Number 2, Nameless. This one has me kinda split. On one hand, it intrigues me. It has kind of a dark, eerie, fiendish vibe to it. Nameless. On the other hand, it also feels all the more try-hard than all the other laughably bad attempts at edgy naming on this list. Just imagine him casually meeting someone. So, what's your name? I'm nameless. You don't have a name? Nameless. Then what should I call you? Nameless. Well, from now on, you're Dan to me. I'm surprised it took me this long to think of such a scenario with this list. Let me cut back on the jokes because Nameless' story is actually kinda sad. He is yet another clone, particularly the 9,999th clone of K-Dash. Sound familiar? The funny thing is, Nameless was brought into King of Fighters 2002 Unlimited Match as a replacement for K49 due to fears of copyright and SNK having an overwhelming dislike of the character. Nameless is a much cooler design and all-around character if you ask me. His name that seemingly indicates a lack of a name is cool yet weird. Somehow. Number 1, Nicotine Caffeine. Say what? His name is all the more strange seeing he's one of those wise elder characters, most of whom have very mystical or prestigious sounding names. He's a chief priest and former master swordsman who trained Haomaru and his rival Genjiro. His temple would become the home of Mikoto, daughter of Shiki, so yeah, he's quite an important character in the series. So what's up with that name? It doesn't reflect his personality much, seeing he's pretty easygoing and quite a smiley guy. Even when fighting, he's got a smile stuck on his face. You'd think they would have named him after psychedelic drugs. Well, Nicotine Caffeine doesn't ingest these stimulants far as we know. His name originated from one of Samurai Shodown's directors, Yasushi Odachi, being addicted to coffee and cigarettes once before. Interesting. Cliche it may be, this entry is all the more evidence that inspiration can come from anywhere. And that's it for this video. Any other strangely named fighting game characters that I might have missed out on here, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you all for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. See ya.